Okay, for real, we're gonna bake banana bread. So we're gonna make it's Amanda's mom's recipe, and there's Amanda right there. Hi. She's turning on the oven to 350, so it can be preheated. There we go. And we're like totally not even 100% ready, so we're just gonna go with it. So we've got a what is this? I'm guessing 8-inch bread loaf
It's a
pan.
bread loaf.
Yeah, bread loaf pan, like stoneware pan. Pretty cool. And what am I supposed to do with it?
Grease it.
Grease it. Okay. It says we're supposed to grease 2 of them. Are we going to cut this in half?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. What am I using to grease? Do we want me to use
Do
butter?
you want butter or do you want something else? I think with that, probably butter.
Butter? Okay. Well, let's see if we got butter. The butter's behind the camera, so yeah, that's all going to move around. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. Camera's going to be all weird for a second. So we keep our butter in the cabinet behind the camera. So there we go. All right, cool. Get that back in like a reasonable position, something like that. Yes. Okay. All right. So and then let's see here. I think I've got this view too. Yeah. See, you can see what I'm doing down here. It's kind of cool. Let's do that. Okay. All right. So we're gonna grease this. So just gonna get dirty and grease it. Just take some butter and just smear it all over the inside.
Oh, I should have asked them if you want me to do that first.
I can smear butter on the inside. Amanda knows that I don't like to have messy hands. It's weird. I don't know. It's just like.
So I help him out.
Yeah, she helps out. Like, I don't like ground beef or raw chicken or anything like that. I think it's because I worked in a restaurant for a really long time, 2 different restaurants. Well, I guess I worked at 3 or 4 restaurants over the years, but worked for 2 of them for a really long time. And like washing your hands and like having clean hands and wearing gloves was like super important. So Amanda has to deal with my OCD about like cleanliness around food and stuff. So, you know, she gets used to it. Or
I tolerate it.
Or tolerate it, exactly. So, yeah, we're just greasing the pan, spreading butter all around, so just a nice surface of butter everywhere. I think you probably can't have like too much. Like huge globs would be weird, I think, but like if you have just a little extra butter, it's just gonna like melt and soak into the crust probably and make that part like really extra good. And we're just using like regular. I think this is just like regular salted standard grocery store butter, right? Like this isn't even in the fancy butter.
No, it is the fancy butter.
Oh, it's fancy butter. So we like Kerrygold.
From Costco.
We get it from Costco because it's probably the best price that we find around here. But yeah, no, it's good stuff.
I'm getting ready with dry ingredients, the
Yeah.
flour, and the baking powder, and the
Ta-da!
salt.
See, super. You can see it has super greasy hands.
And baking soda. Baking powder, baking soda. Okay, I'm gonna move that here.
I'm gonna try to get this butter off my hands.
Actually, I can do this first. Alright, so baking powder, baking soda, 3 teaspoons baking powder. Oh wait, we're gonna cut it in half. Because we only have 1 bread loaf pan, and this recipe is for 2 bread loaves, so we're cutting this in half. So we get to do math, which is always great.
Having an echo in the kitchen is really good for having to do math. Unfortunately for both of us.
An echo in the kitchen.
Yeah, like an Amazon Echo. Or sorry, an Alexa. Well, okay.
Alexa.
Yeah, everyone calls it an Alexa, but I think it's actually called an Echo.
Anyway, 1.5 teaspoons of baking.
Helps us do math, but I had to unplug it so we can plug the computer in out here. So, what'd you say?
We're fine, we're good.
Oh, yeah, we're decent. Okay, you have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay. Difference between baking powder and baking soda.
Yeah, so
don't want to screw it up.
baking powder, so you level it off like this against the edge. I don't know if people know that or not, but
Yeah,
I'm trying
whatever.
to get...
Yeah, tell them.
Tell them.
Tell them all about it.
I'm trying to did it.
They can't
so.
see you because you're like, I'm just going to move the camera so they can like see you.
Me?
Yeah, see
Oh.
you're down there in the corner. I don't think it's going to go that way. This is pretty like a super janky setup, so well, I just do this. Boom, there you go.
That's what I thought the camera was on. I'm not the tech savvy one. So anyway, getting the baking powder. I'm leveling it off against the edge here. This is 1 teaspoon. And then I needed half a teaspoon. And then how much baking soda do I need?
You need 1 teaspoon, so cut in half, you need a half teaspoon.
Okay.
And then you need salt.
I'm trying to get this fairly full. Okay.
Oh, and if you're watching and you want to know, we're going to put this recipe, I'll post this on my YouTube channel, which you can find in my Twitch bio. And we'll put the recipe there. So
I'm just trying to level off the baking soda, half a teaspoon.
There you go. Because I'm not a Twitch affiliate or partner yet, since this is literally the first time we've done this, so I can't upload videos to Twitch yet. Someday maybe. So yeah.
So getting out the salt. Oops.
Throwing things all over the place.
How much salt?
So it says 1 teaspoon, so we're going to do a half a teaspoon. And then flour.
And the flour needs to be sifted.
Is it measured after it's sifted? Because it says sifted all purpose.
Yeah, this is the thing with family recipes. I don't really know.
Most people measure it, then sift it. You want to try that?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So it says 3.5 cups, but cutting that in half is 1 3/4 cups. See, we can do math.
Mm-hmm.
So, 1 cup and a 3/4 cup. All right. So I'm going to show you all the right way to do flour, because I think this is something most people don't know, because they've never done like big time bakers or whatever. So this is like really important. If you ever bake and things come out weird, like it seems like the ratios are off, like I don't know, it's like too cakey or not cakey enough, like everything falls really flat when you're baking. It might be because you're not doing your flour right.
The oven's preheated, that's what that keeps
Yeah,
us.
oven's good. Okay, so the way you're supposed to do flour, let's see if I can get this on the camera for you guys. Alright, here it is. So the way you're supposed to do flour is you're supposed to, here, I'm going to adjust this camera real quick, so it's going to be like total wonky for a second while I tip it just a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so the way you're supposed to do flour is you're supposed to hold your measuring cup over. Now I need 1 cup and 3/4, so I've got a 1 cup and I've got a 3/4 cup. So it's to hold your flour over your, flour container and take a spoon. I like to use just like a soup spoon, tablespoon. You don't want to, like if your flour is like super packed down, like I'm doing now, like I'm packing it down, you don't want to just scoop into that and pick it up. You want to like kind of stir it to loosen it up a little bit and then get yourself a scoop. But I'm not just going to put this right in here because the action of scooping the flour compacts it. And if you have too much flour or too little flour, because you didn't do this right, it's going to change your recipe. So you scoop it and you hold your measuring cup underneath, and I wiggle my spoon back and forth so it falls off. It kind of breaks up that compacted part from scooping. And just keep going until your measuring cup is overflowing. That's why you do this over the top, and I already spilled a little on the counter. You're always going to spill a little flour, nothing you can do about that. So there, I've got this huge heaping mound. Now you have to be really careful. You don't want to shake this. You don't want to like tap it on the counter. The idea here is you don't want to pack it in. You want to measure it unpacked. So leave it like this, hold it over your container, take a butter knife, and run it across the top. Again, I'm not packing it down, I'm just leveling it. Okay, so that's our 1 cup. We'll do our 3/4 cup, and then we'll sift it. Do the same thing, just make sure it's kind of loose, big scoop, and shake it over top. so that it's not packed when it's going in the measuring cup. I know this is weird. A lot of people were taught. I don't think I was taught this. I think I learned it by watching other people cook on the internet. So you really just have to, learn these kind of things to like really step up the quality, I think, of your baking. Okay, so there we go. We've got.
You know what else steps up the quality of your baking? King Arthur's flour.
Really good flour. We use King Arthur flour. This is unbleached King Arthur all-purpose flour. Costco again. Costco, if you have a Costco for their baking supplies, is really affordable. Like this is like, I don't know, maybe like $6 or $7, I think, for 12 pounds, and you get like 5 pounds at like the local chain grocery store for like $6. So you get basically like, actually, I think you end up like getting like 2 pounds free. I think maybe it's more expensive than I said at Costco. Anyway, you save a good amount of money. And King Arthur is like really good quality flour. So, all right, so I've got my my full cup and my 3/4 cup. Now I'm going to sift it. So sifting is another thing that I don't think a lot of people do with their flour. Not every recipe tells you have to sift your flour, but there's nothing wrong with doing it. So all you have to do is use a sifter. So we have a manual sifter here, poured it all in there, and like this is like seriously like the cheapest thing ever off of Amazon. It's not super fancy, but you just do this. All this does is this breaks up any large pieces of flour that are left. Like if you look down in there right now, there's like these balls of flour that are like really thick, and if those end up in your recipe without being broken up, they're going to be just parts of your bread that don't taste really good.
And then it says you're supposed to sift these in with it, the other dry ingredients.
The baking powder, the baking soda, and the salt. So it's just like a way to mix it in with the flour. So we're going to do that with this batch of flour. And again, we're just trying to break up these, like look at these huge balls of flour in there. Like that is easily the size of like a marble. There's 2 of them, and just in this 1 cup. And if you don't break these up, you're going to have these pockets of baked flour, but they're going to be unflavored. They're not going to be mixed with anything else, so it's going to be weird. So there you go. So it's just breaking up your flour, making it nice and even. Don't wash this in a dishwasher, by the way. Totally always wash it by hand. You always towel dry it too, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll rust. Like it's the cheap one, so it's like it's fine.
That is not yours.
But it will rust. Our cat is eating his sister's food, and he's on a diet, so Amanda's gonna go get him. Okay, so we got our flour, our baking powder, and our salt.
Good boy.
All right, so I think next is bananas. Mash bananas with a beater or a fork and add vanilla. Okay, so this says 2 cups of mashed white bananas, so we only need 1 cup.
He said, what did you do with that food? I took it away.
Oh, she put it up so you can't get to it. All right, so we're going to do 1 cup of mashed bananas.
Do it with an electric beater or with a fork?
Whatever.
I think probably beater would be.
We're going to use the electric beater because we also have to cream butter.
Yeah.
So,
I forget where I put it.
we rearranged and we don't know where the electric beater is yet, so, or don't remember. Is it down here, like the other baking stuff?
Yeah.
There? Yeah, there it is.
Because
Because we use it with our baking. There we go. Okay, so good old, kind of cheap, but it works just fine. Electric beater. We have nowhere to plug it in.
We do have a KitchenAid.
We do have a KitchenAid. That was a recent purchase. Was that a pandemic purchase?
It might have been beginning of pandemic purchase.
Yeah, beginning of pandemic purchase. So we don't have a place to plug this in. So that's a problem. Okay, well, we'll just temporarily unplug the computer while we beat the bananas and the butter. That's fine. We're good.
Okay.
You want to do this one?
Yeah.
Alright, need 1 cup of bananas. So, how many bananas do you think that is? Like 2, probably?
Let's start with 2.
Alright. So we're using bananas that I think some people might, like,
Well,
I would not eat
this
these.
is in another bowl. We should do it in a small bowl.
Okay. So, like, I don't know. I would maybe not eat these. Just, I don't know.
I wouldn't eat them because I like my bananas just from turning green to yellow.
Like, you like them firmer.
Yeah.
You eat them. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with bananas.
These actually, I mean,
They're nice and soft. I mean, there's nothing.
they're good. Well, yeah, somebody might eat it like an
Like, there's actually nothing wrong with it.
There's
Like,
nothing
it's
wrong with it. But
just fine.
for baking, this is
Perfect.
good.
Yeah.
Even a little bit more. I've used and seen people use like entirely brown skinned bananas for baking banana bread.
Right. Yeah. No. As long as they're not like moldy.
Well, yeah.
They're fine.
I don't want it to be moldy.
Nobody wants it to be moldy.
I can open this. Except maybe not because I'm bad at opening things.
Sometimes.
You know, like those bags that you can open, rip the top. What?
I just don't have here like
you can rip the top off, and then
like a bag like this. Like here's some chicken tenders, like this. We would totally
that you can rip the top off, and then you can close it because it's a Ziploc. I tend to like accidentally
not see the
Ziploc and open it from the other end, or like I had a bag of M&Ms that did that, and I tried to tear the top off, but somehow got the Ziploc part stuck on one side. So then this side was open, and it wouldn't zip up anymore.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully my computer doesn't die. I'm gonna unplug the computer so we can run the electric mixer. We'll have to get like more outlets over here or something. Okay. Whoa, things just got super trippy for a second. I think everything's okay.
Trippy.
It did. Whoa.
Do we want to mute it? Do they actually want to hear that spinning?
Okay, I'm going to mute while we're beating this so you don't have to listen to it. But, okay, hang on. Okay, so mashing them up just a little bit with like the end of the beater, just so they're not like these huge pieces. I don't think I need a fork. I think this is okay. So like there we go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna like beat it with this just to like make it a little more smooth. Okay, so there we go. I don't think that's like too like puree, but it's like nice and smooth. We need 2 cups.
No,
one cup. Okay, let me get a spoon.
Where this spatula does go to.
Okay. Get a spatula. Sweet.
Spatula. So I'm gonna tip the camera a little bit. I don't know. So I'm just going to put it in a measuring cup to see if it's 1 cup or not.
I think it is. I think it's like perfect. It's short. 1 more banana.
So apparently 1 cup is about 3 bananas. Might be 2.5, but if
you can have extra, right?
I think you, yeah, I mean it gives it, yeah, I think it's fine. It makes it just a little more banana flavored.
Who doesn't like banana flavoring?
I actually don't like bananas as far as, like, they're not my favorite as far as fruit goes, but I really like banana bread.
There you go. Alright, so 1 more banana. The same thing, just use the end of the mixer to like break it up a little bit, which makes it a little easier to blend, I think. Alright, here we go. Okay, I think that was pretty good. I'm gonna cream the butter still. Alright, so we'll see if we got a cup first. Which I'm sure we probably do.
I was just thinking we probably didn't need to turn on the oven as early. Especially
Yeah.
because we're doing all this explaining and slower. So in fear baking, you probably could wait a little longer to preheat your oven. Of course, you know your oven and how long it's going to take to preheat.
Then we need to add the vanilla and mix it with the bananas.
Yeah,
we got 1 cup of banana.
1 cup.
Okay.
That's good. Well, I'll put it back in here then.
All right.
So we can put the vanilla in.
The greatest thing ever, if you're cooking with vanilla, is this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Vanilla
Bean paste. And this Nielsen.
The specific brand, whatever it is,
Nielsen
Massey. Really good. We had somebody turn us on to this at a cooking class.
At Sur La Table.
We liked our cooking class. This is more expensive than like the artificial vanilla bean stuff, but it's not like crazy, right? Like,
I mean,
it's certainly a luxury, but the flavor is amazing, and it's like measure for measure, same as vanilla, like regular vanilla extract. So, like it tells you on the side, a tablespoon of paste equals a tablespoon of vanilla extract equals 1 vanilla bean. So, you can use that, and for vanilla,
it's a half a teaspoon.
We need a half a teaspoon.
Yeah.
So when we do this, you're going to see it has like little flecks of vanilla bean in it. So you want to like mix it up, I think. You know, like stick your spoon down in there and stir it before you pull any out. And then it's like this super dark pasty. It's just like a deeper vanilla flavor, and it's real as opposed to extract, like the artificial extract. Tastes so much better.
So it's really thick and
really tasty.
Kind of sticks to the measuring spoon a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
good.
There's a little left, but that's all right. So go ahead and mix that.
Okay, we're gonna mix this up real quick. You don't have to overdo it. You're just mixing it through. There we go. I'm going to get an extension cord because that thing is dying fast.
Okay. All right. That means that I should talk more. So next, in the larger bowl, we're going to get. So we have 3 different bowls so far. That's how the recipe does it, and I think it is the best way to do it. So we have our bowl with vanilla and bananas. If you don't want chunks of banana in your banana bread, you could mix it a little bit more than this. I don't mind, like you can kind of see that there's a little bit, like a big chunk there. I don't mind, I don't think we mind that it might have a few bigger chunks in it instead of being really smooth. And then this bowl has the dry ingredients, and then we're going to end up adding them all into the biggest bowl, and we're going to start with it with the butter in the big bowl, the biggest bowl.
Got totally rookie streamers, not enough outlets, got to plug in an extension cord. There we go. Okay. We're getting power now. Cool.
This is fun, whether or not anybody
is watching
or cares.
Supposedly there are 6 people in the chat room, so...
All right.
Does that mean there are 6 people watching? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Where is the butter that I had sitting out on the counter?
Right there.
No.
Oh, it's behind the computer.
So I set out butter and eggs on the counter to get to room temperature. With a lot of recipes in baking, that's what they tell you to do, to have room temperature butter and eggs. With some recipes, it probably doesn't matter. I actually don't know with this recipe. My family recipes aren't really as detailed as a lot of the recipes you see online on food and baking blogs, cooking and baking blogs. So I just went ahead and decided to try and bring them to room temperature and try it that way. So how much butter do we need?
Okay, so we need 3/4 of a cup shortening or butter, but we need half that, so it's 3/8 of a cup. So half of 3/4 is 6 tablespoons.
Okay, I'm gonna get this knife clean. I had butter. You used it for
The flour. There's one right here.
Okay. Oops. Well, now that's dirty because it's on the floor. All right. So how many tablespoons?
6.
Okay. So I probably know that your butter usually measures out the tablespoons on the side of the packaging. So this Kerrygold butter is
2 sticks.
2 sticks of kind of regular butter that you might get from the store. So it's a little bit thinner for the tablespoons. And you said 6 grapes, right?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the issue with it being room temperature
Harder to cut.
is it's harder to cut. So had I thought about it, I would have cut it just the 6 tablespoons and put that on the counter. But I did pretty good. Cut right there. So this is the 6 tablespoons.
Quarters of a cup of sugar.
The recipe says shortening or butter. When I was growing up, we used shortening a lot for the recipes, Crisco. But I haven't bought Crisco in
Long time.
years, and I just use butter
I think
now.
we bought it once or something. Okay. And then we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So try to like get most of the flour out of our little flour thing here and use it for sugar.
I already put 2 of the 3, so I just thought we would just scoop the 3rd one.
Okay. Amanda has pre-scooped 2 of 3/4 cups of sugar right here. So we're just going to scoop the 3rd. And unlike flour, you can scoop sugar because it doesn't really compact. So there we go. We've got 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And what we're supposed to do is beat it.
Cream them with a spoon or at medium speed with an electric mixer.
All right, so here we go. Butter, sugar, flour. That was the salt once. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, in such a large bowl, it's just wanting to basically run away from me. So I'm going to use a wooden spoon, to like try to combine it a little bit. I think because we cut the recipe in half, and this is like, I think our largest mixing bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like wanting to run away from me. So to cream butter and sugar, what you're looking for is basically the sugar and butter to like be cohesive. Like, you know, like you can't tell what's sugar and what's butter because it's like one big lump. Well, not lump, but you know, like one mixture. It's kind of like grainy butter or weird yellow sugar, I guess, which is different than yellow snow, right? It is snow on the ground outside still. Someday maybe it'll rain enough and the snow will go away.
Do they know where we are?
Yeah, we live in Ohio. Got a big snowstorm last week. I ended up stuck in California for 2 days longer than I was supposed to be there. Yeah, I got home 48 hours after I was supposed to be home because my connecting flight on Thursday was supposed to go through Dallas, and its runways were closed, or most of the runways were closed at the Dallas airport, and they rescheduled me to basically the same flight the next day. The same thing happened, so I made them reschedule me on Saturday to go through a different city, and well, that flight ended up getting canceled too, but I found a way home. Not to bash any airlines on here, but it was not a good experience. I won't be flying with that airline again, probably. We'll see. Swear it off, but I've sworn them off before, I think, too, and here I am. So, alright, so I've got it mostly mixed, but I'm going to use the mixer to cream it just a little more. Alright, there we go. That's pretty good. Creamed butter and sugar. So now, here's the fun part. We're going to put 1.5 eggs in here.
So we're not. We're going to put 2 eggs in. The recipe calls for 3, but whenever actually, we should probably Google this, but I think in the past, whenever I had to do half a recipe and it wasn't an even number of eggs, I always just did the greater number of the half. I think that is better.
Want to do the great Google?
Ryan is going to Google it. while he was mixing this, I also checked the eggs to make sure they were okay. It actually does work if you put it in a glass of water. If they sink to the bottom, they're fine. If they rise to the top, they are no good. Sometimes we tend to keep eggs around a long time. We just don't use a lot of eggs unless we're baking. And so sometimes I've had eggs that have risen to the top of the glass because
Here we go.
they were no good.
We're going to crack one of these eggs in this thing. And so it says if you're doing like a recipe like a casserole or whatever, or like a frittata, where a little extra egg isn't going to hurt anything, it's no big deal. But for baking specifically, they say you really want to try to get... So baking is like a science. Like you really want to get those measurements correct.
So we're going to try half an egg?
We're going to cut an egg, we're going to put an egg in that bowl, I'm going to whisk it, and we're going to try to get half of it.
Okay.
Roughly, we're going to eyeball it.
There's probably more scientific ways and better ways that people
Probably
crack
weigh it,
eggs.
see what it weighs.
Oh, I was going to say that people crack eggs.
Oh yeah, I'll show you one.
I just do it like this, and then I'm really careful to not get any of the shell in there.
Yeah.
Most of the time it works. Sometimes I have to use a spoon and dig out a little piece of shell.
Yeah, whatever. Things happen. Okay, so gonna whisk this egg. I'm not gonna overdo it because we're gonna mix the eggs some more. But there we go. We've got some egg, mostly liquid egg, mostly well combined. By the way, you can always add like a teaspoon of water to your eggs to make it mix a little more cohesively. I'm not gonna do that today since this is for baking, but I'm just gonna like pour half of this in here and then just like stop like that. There we go. All right, we're gonna say that's half an egg.
Okay.
There we go. And then the other egg.
All right, you want
super scientific way to open an egg. Watch this. Let's see if I can do it without making an embarrassment of myself. Oh, I got some shell. Yeah, that didn't work the way I wanted it to, but I got all the shell and it's all good.
At least it didn't break in a million pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one-handed. That was impressive.
All right.
Right? No?
Yes, it's very impressive. I'm going to mute while we mix in the eggs.
Okay. All right, so you're supposed to mix in total like 4 minutes, this recipe says.
Between the sugar, the butter, and the eggs. And it says whip in the eggs until it's
Fluffy.
nice and fluffy. And
very light and fluffy, it says.
I think it looks at least creamy. I think it's alright.
Milk?
Milk's already on the cake.
Milk's already out. Alright.
Alright, so the next step is to add the dry ingredients alternately with the milk and beat after each addition.
So like go back and forth between the two?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well I don't know where the measuring cups are. Oh, there they are. I found them. Okay, I got them. Alright, so we need 3/8 of a cup, which you can't get from there.
You did half of 3/4 of.
Which is 6 tablespoons. We know that from earlier.
Wait, you need 3/4 of a cup.
Cut it in half.
Cut it in half.
3/8.
6. Oh yeah.
6/8.
That's kind of interesting. 3/4 and 3/8 is the same.
Well, 3/8 is
Well,
half
I mean,
of 3/4.
not the same. Never mind.
Okay,
Math.
so math. For this recipe, we're going to alternate maybe like in 3 little transitions. Here's some milk. Okay, there we go. Mix it up real quick. And then we'll do some dry ingredients, like, you know, like maybe about 1/3 of them. We're not being like precise. We're just trying to not do it all at once. Go. Amanda says we should switch to the spoon, so we don't get flour everywhere. She's probably right. So we'll do that. Plus, it'll help us get the flour off the side of the bowl. Does the dry ingredients include the banana?
No.
Okay.
The bananas are folded in last. Folded in.
Right. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to do another like 2 tablespoons of milk. So we're doing, for this recipe, 3/8 of a cup, which is also 6 tablespoons, according to our little handy dandy converter over there.
Yeah, we talk about math, but we actually have a magnet that has the conversions.
Makes it easier. Alright, so then we'll do like half of what's left, which will be the second of 2/3, 3/3. Okay, there we go. Mix that in, then we'll need another 2 tablespoons of milk in there. So we're just mixing this up nice and good. Trying to be super scientific and precise about it.
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. So like I said, we're going to put this recipe on my YouTube. Since I'm not a Twitch affiliate or partner yet, I can't post recorded videos yet on YouTube. But once that happens, we'll be able to post the video and recipe on Twitch. But for now, after today's stream, I will put the recipe and the recording on my YouTube channel. And you can link there from my bio, which is not actually in my bio yet, but it will be after today's stream. So if you follow, you'll be able to come back and find me later, which would be really cool if you followed. Thank you if you do. If you don't, that's cool. I hope you come back and check us out. I think we might try to do this like once, maybe twice, or 3 times a week if we get really good at it. And it's fun. If it's not fun, we'll see. I think to be a affiliate, which I think is the lower level, you have to stream 7 times in a month, so that's like twice a week basically. And you have to have like an average number of viewers and stuff, so a little bit of behind the scenes on Twitch, but like this is just a hobby for us. Well, for me really, I'm roping my wife into it because I want to do it.
But I like baking.
But Amanda likes baking, and she wanted to make bread, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, so here we are. We're doing it. Okay, we got all of our dry ingredients and all of our wet ingredients in, well mixed. Yeah, alright, you're saying it's good. I probably overdid it.
Alright, so we fold in the bananas. Is anybody a fan of Disney's Sleeping Beauty and remember when it talks about folding in ingredients, it reminds me of the fairy godmothers and when they were trying to bake the cake for Sleeping Beauty and they were told to fold in the eggs into the recipe and she just put the eggs, shell and all into the batter and then just folded the batter over them and crushed the eggs if there was eggshells in it. That's what it reminds me of. And then
that's not actually how you fold things.
And then I found $5. That's not actually.
But the moral of the story is that's not how you actually fold things.
Well, and especially eggs. You don't put shells of eggs.
No, well, that's also not how you fold things.
Sure. I probably don't even know how you fold things, so you tell me.
Okay, I'll fill in the water bottle and I will show you.
Alright, so I'm going to use this spatula to get the rest of this batter off of the mixing spoon. And probably use this spatula to fold things in.
Yeah. You know, you said something about preheating your oven too early, but I think it's okay to turn it on a little earlier because you want to make sure it's like actually warm, like all the way through. Okay, so folding, this isn't really a big enough spatula for this, so I'm going to switch to a larger spatula. Let's see if I can find it. It's like way back here. The really big one.
Is clean?
There it is. Okay. There we go. All right, there we go. After the armpit shot, you now get the big spatula. So Folding. You're literally just folding. You're not mixing. Right? We're just getting the banana basically lightly, very loosely mixed in with the batter. We're not trying to make it one consistent mixture like we were doing when we were trying to make the creamed butter and sugar. We're just enough so that we can say it's mixed, but not so mixed that you can't tell the difference between the batter and the banana. That's it, right? You can still see clear differentiation between batter and banana right there. So there, I would say that has been folded in. All right, and I think the last thing is we put it in the pan, right?
Yep. Put it in the pan.
All right, so we got our buttered pan right here. And we've got our mixture, and we're just going to literally pour it straight in, which you can't see because we're not doing it for the camera. Let's just try to be, hobbyist professionals here. There we go. Like, that's a great view. Okay. Not that. Can you hold the bowl?
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, so she can hold the bowl, and then we're gonna just scrape it out. You can see as it's going in, you get some batter, some banana. It's not totally mixed in. It's gonna make for a nice, pockets of banana inside the bread, as opposed to just being all mixed in. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. If you don't like it, you can always mix your banana in a little more. But that's it. You got it mostly clean. Don't want to get too much of this unmixed flour in there, because again, you're going to end up with unseasoned, just flour.
Taste of flour, yum.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not raw, so you're not going to get salmonella or anything, but it's not going to taste good. Okay, there it is. So we're going in the oven for an hour, kids. Right in the middle, on the middle rack. In for an hour. Kids. All right, in for an hour, and then we're going to cool for 10 minutes. So we're going to put a timer up on the screen so you know how much time we have left.
Why is there a little bit on the edge there?
There's a little on the edge because I wiped the spatula there. Now it's not on the edge.
Okay.
Okay. All right, middle rack. 350. 1 hour. Let's use this one.
Oh, he's going to use...
The timer I don't like. Okay.
Never mind. He's going to use the timer that he does not like.
You can also press this button and you can look at that camera right there.
Oh,
see?
He's going to use the timer that he doesn't like.
I don't like the Pampered Chef timer. I have big hands. It's too small for me. The buttons are super tiny. It's perfect for Amanda because she has tiny hands.
I like it because it reminds me of my childhood and growing up, because this is the timer my mom had, and so this is what I baked with.
Yep.
This is not the exact one. My mom still has it, or maybe it got too old and broke, but I got one myself.
All right, the banana bread's in the oven. We're baking. We'll see you in about an hour. Oh, hey, we're back. Okay, all right, here we go, baking. Okay, so we baked the bread for an hour, and it has come out. We tested it with a cake tester, which if you've never used one, you just stick it in the middle, pull it back out, and look at it. And if the cake tester doesn't have any liquid on it, basically, it means that the middle of your thing is cooked, and it's good to go. That doesn't want to go where I want it to go. That's fine. How about like that? Something like that, maybe? Yes. Okay, there we go. So we did all that, and then took it out of the pan, put it on this wire rack for 10 minutes to let it cool. Now we're going to put it on a cutting board, and we're going to cut it and see what it looks like. So, the camera is on that right there. So, cut it with a bread knife. When you're cutting with a bread knife, don't push down. Let the knife do all the work so you don't smash your bread. There we go. Ooh, look at that steam. I don't know if that came through on the camera. It looked really good. So you can see the bits of banana that we were talking about earlier. That's because we folded it in and didn't blend it. So there's going to be little pockets of banana that people will get to enjoy while we're eating. And then we're going to cut a couple nice thick slices so we can try it and enjoy it.
I like to put butter on my banana bread.
Me too. I don't eat banana bread very often, but Amanda makes good bread. So it's one slice. I'm going to do another one. It's really hard, especially when it's just come out of the oven, to cut the bread because it's so soft and it wants to just like fall apart. So you kind of really have to be careful to support it, keeping your fingers out of the way of your knife. Remember, you're not pushing down so you don't smash it. You're letting the knife do all the work as you move it back and forth. So there we go. A couple nice thick slices of bread. Get a couple plates here. We're going to try this out. Alright. Here's a piece of bread for Amanda. A little thinner piece of bread for me. Alright. And let's see. Yeah, and that banana, you can just see it all swirled in there. That's really cool. Alright, got our butter. Got our butter knife. Amanda will do the honors.
Best butter in the world.
Best butter in the world. Kerrygold, salted butter.
Also a little harder to spread when it's really when it's hot.
Yeah.
Well, the butter's soft though, so that's good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we keep our butter at room temperature. Yeah, you should keep butter at room temperature. You want to make sure you keep it away from sources of heat. So I think when we first started keeping our butter at room temperature, we tried to keep it above our oven, which we didn't really think about. First time we baked, the next time we pulled it out, it had all melted and re-solidified in the shape of the dish. So you probably don't want to be like us. So we keep ours in a cabinet. Butter does not like air and it does not like light. So you don't want to keep it, if it's in a clear container like ours, you want to make sure you keep it like in a cabinet. So we keep ours in a cabinet away from sources of heat, not above the stove, not above or near the microwave, so it doesn't get hot. And then let's eat. Let's try some banana bread. See how it tastes. Cheers. Ooh, mine's just falling apart, so I'm just going to pull it apart. Oh my gosh. That's so good. It's like not too dense, really buttery because of the butter we added to it. It's moist. It's very hard to pick up without it falling apart. The crust is like perfectly golden, a little salty because we use the butter to butter the pan with.
He's better at describing things than me. I just like it.
It was really good.
If you like a good crust on bread, it has a really nice brown outside. Yeah. I like the soft inside.
The middle part, Amanda doesn't like crusty.
I eat it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. It's very, very good. Alright. That's it. We made banana bread. It only took us 2 hours.
Hey.
Hey.
It's a good Friday night.
Yeah, good Friday night. Almost bedtime. We're going to enjoy the rest of our banana bread and probably pack it in. So, if you haven't already, we will, if you didn't write down this recipe while we were doing it, we'll put it on our YouTube channel. And you'll find that link in our bio in the next couple of days after we get everything uploaded there. And then once we have enough subscribers on Twitch, and we've done this often enough, we'll be able to actually upload the videos to Twitch, and you'll be able to check them out there. So, thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Bye.